An undercurrent of tension permeated the Grand Hall of the Interstellar Council. This majestic chamber, home to envoys from innumerable species, was abuzz with subdued whispers as every delegate grappled with the alarming update. Dominating the center was a holographic image of Earth, the cradle of humanity, a civilization whose bold actions had sent unsettling ripples through the cosmos. Presiding over the assembly was the Council's designated spokesperson, an imposing avian creature adorned with iridescent azure plumage. Raising a clawed limb, the speaker signaled for quiet. Distinguished members of the Interstellar Council, we are confronted with an extraordinary dilemma. Humanity, despite our concerted outreach efforts, has unequivocally declined to engage in diplomatic discourse. Their message leaves no room for misinterpretation. They reject our authority and have no desire to join our collective. A wave of consternation swept through the delegates. Humanity's resistance wasn't entirely unforeseen. Ever since their entrance onto the galactic stage, their reputation for ingenuity and assertiveness had grown. In a remarkably short span, they had emerged as both a resourceful and formidable species. Unlike other civilizations that approached the Council with measured caution, humans had boldly stepped forward, combining rapid technological advancement with a disregard for established norms. One envoy, a reptilian being with gleaming emerald scales, hissed in indignation, "This brazen defiance cannot go unchallenged. They jeopardize the harmony of our collective. Refusing to negotiate is tantamount to an act of war." The speaker's feathers fluffed slightly in response. "We must first strive to comprehend the motivations behind their dissent. Historical patterns suggest that humanity operates with strategic intent. What do they hope to achieve by isolating themselves from the most powerful alliance in the galaxy?" A petite, rodent-like delegate interjected, "Perhaps they perceive us as vulnerable. Their technological strides are undeniable mastery of faster-than-light travel, adaptive military innovations, and exceptional terraforming prowess make them a force we cannot dismiss." A contemplative hush settled over the chamber as representatives weighed the implications. Humanity's meteoric rise in technology defied precedent. While other species had required millennia to reach similar milestones, humans had accomplished this within centuries. Their unconventional approaches often challenged established paradigms, earning both admiration and apprehension. The Council's prior attempts at establishing a rapport had been met with polite yet steadfast disengagement. Now, faced with humanity's outright refusal, the Council confronted a species seemingly impervious to traditional diplomatic overtures. "We cannot allow them to set a perilous precedent," proclaimed another envoy, a gaseous entity whose voice echoed ethereally. "Their defiance could embolden other species to reject the Council's authority." The speaker acknowledged this concern with a grave nod. "However, we must exercise prudence. Underestimating humans would be unwise. They have honed their resilience and tactical acumen through countless internal conflicts. Their ability to adapt under pressure is unparalleled." An illuminated hologram materialized above the central dais, highlighting humanity's defining traits: adaptability, ingenuity, and a propensity for escalation when challenged. The Council had once aspired to integrate humanity amicably, envisioning a symbiotic relationship that leveraged their strengths for the galaxy's collective advancement. That vision now seemed increasingly unattainable. The once hopeful atmosphere now felt distant. Could they be plotting something? A voice questioned from the rear of the chamber. The speaker, a massive insectoid creature, leaned in thoughtfully. "Perhaps their refusal is merely a smokescreen, a tactic to buy time while they prepare for conflict." This proposition stirred another wave of murmurs among the delegates. The notion of humans, with their unpredictable nature and unconventional tactics, initiating a surprise attack was unsettling. The Council had never encountered an adversary like humanity, one seemingly unfazed by their authority. Alternatively, interjected a wise aquatic representative, their tone serene yet penetrating. "They might simply cherish their autonomy above all else." Historical patterns show that humanity consistently resists external domination, often at great personal cost. They've battled among themselves to shape their own destinies. Why should we expect a different approach toward us? The chamber grew silent at this insight. Humanity's dedication to self-governance was well known. They had survived planetary disasters, internal strife, and threats to their very existence, each time emerging more resilient and united. To many, this indomitable spirit was admirable. To the Council, it posed a significant challenge. "We must determine our next steps," the speaker asserted firmly. "Continuing diplomatic efforts might be perceived as weakness, yet aggressive actions could trigger retaliation that jeopardizes us all. How can we navigate these risks effectively?" Debate erupted throughout the room, each species contributing perspectives shaped by their unique histories. Some advocated for military intervention, believing that humanity's rapid expansion needed to be contained before it became unmanageable. Others urged caution, warning that provoking the humans could lead to a war the Council was unprepared to handle. Amidst the discussions, a neutral observer from an unaffiliated species addressed the assembly. Their holographic image flickered as they spoke. Perhaps the essential question isn't about our response, but about understanding why humanity has chosen this path. Their defiance might reflect their core values rather than an act of aggression. Proceeding without this insight could be a grave mistake. The speaker acknowledged this point with a slight nod. An excellent observation. Before taking any action, we must seek a deeper understanding of humanity's motivations. Gaining this knowledge is crucial for informing our decisions. As the meeting concluded, delegates exited the chamber with expressions ranging from concern to determination. The issue of humanity's refusal weighed heavily on everyone's minds, its potential consequences vast. Throughout its long history, the Council had faced numerous challenges, but none quite like this. They were now confronting a species seemingly impervious to their influence, a species whose mere stance questioned the very foundation of their unity. News of humanity's decision not to engage spread swiftly across the galaxy's extensive communication networks. The announcement sparked widespread panic and uncertainty, leaving citizens on countless worlds to ponder the ramifications. Known for their unpredictable nature and swift progress, humanity had essentially spurned the Galactic Council's authority, a move many perceived as a claim of supremacy or even a declaration of war. Rumors spread like wildfire, with theories ranging from impending invasions to intricate human schemes to consolidate power. Across bustling trade hubs and major colonies, the issue dominated public discourse. Crowded marketplaces and lively spaceports buzzed with conversations about humans. Merchants from distant systems exchanged exaggerated tales of human fleets amassing near unaligned territories, and the fear of the unknown only amplified the anxiety. Despite their impressive technological capabilities, much about human culture and intentions remained shrouded in mystery. Some civilians began hoarding resources, while others advocated for diplomatic efforts to peacefully resolve the standoff. The uncertainty unsettled entire civilizations, disrupting their sense of security. The Galactic Council itself felt the mounting strain as member species reacted to the crisis. Militant civilizations, especially those with histories of expansionism, swiftly proposed defensive measures. These factions viewed humanity's defiance as a provocation, arguing for preemptive strikes to prevent what they saw as inevitable aggression. They pointed to humanity's rapid technological advancement and history of conflict as evidence that the species posed an existential threat to the galaxy. Conversely, pacifist and diplomatically inclined members urged caution, emphasizing that humanity's motives might not align with the Council's worst fears. These representatives highlighted humanity's lack of territorial ambitions beyond their own systems and their apparent disinterest in conquest. To them, humanity's refusal was not an act of war but an assertion of independence, a declaration that they valued sovereignty above all else. The divide between these factions deepened, threatening to fracture the Council's unity. Beyond the Council chambers, individual species began taking matters into their own hands. On frontier worlds near human space, tensions escalated. The Galactic Council's Grand Hall buzzed with unease. An imposing structure filled with representatives of countless species. Every seat was occupied, and delegates murmured in myriad tongues as they absorbed the news. A holographic projection dominated the center of the room, displaying Earth, the homeworld of humanity, a species whose audacity had sent ripples of fear across the galaxy. The Council's appointed speaker, a towering avian being with shimmering blue feathers, raised a clawed hand to silence the assembly. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, we face an unprecedented crisis. Humanity, despite our extensive efforts, has outright refused to engage in diplomatic negotiations. Their message is clear. They do not recognize our authority, nor do they wish to be part of our collective. A wave of dismay swept through the chamber. Humanity's defiance wasn't entirely unexpected. Their reputation had been building ever since they made contact with the wider galaxy. In an astonishingly short time, they had established themselves as a species both resourceful and assertive. In stark contrast to other civilizations that had approached the Galactic Council with measured caution, humanity had erupted onto the interstellar stage, combining cutting-edge technological advancements with a disregard for traditional protocols. One delegate, a reptilian creature adorned with shimmering emerald scales, hissed, "Such insolence cannot go unanswered. They threaten the peace we've worked so hard to maintain." To refuse negotiation is effectively a declaration of war. The speaker's radiant feathers fluffed with with agitation. We must first discern the reasons behind their defiance. History shows that humanity acts with calculated purpose. What could they hope to achieve by isolating themselves from the galaxy's most formidable alliance? A smaller, rodent-like representative interjected, "Perhaps they see us as weak." Their technological leaps are undeniable mastery of faster-than-light travel, adaptive military tech, and advanced terraforming make them a force we can't ignore. A hush fell over the chamber as the delegates contemplated the ramifications. Humanity's rapid technological rise was unprecedented. While other species had taken millennia to reach similar milestones, humans had done so in mere centuries. Their unconventional methods elicited both admiration and unease. Previous efforts by the Council to establish a rapport had been met with polite yet firm rejection. Now, facing humanity's outright refusal, the Council confronted a species seemingly impervious to standard diplomatic pressures. "We cannot allow them to set the terms," declared another delegate, a gaseous entity whose voice resonated eerily. "Their refusal sets a dangerous precedent. If one species can dismiss the Council, others might follow suit." The speaker nodded solemnly. "However, we must proceed with caution. Underestimating humans would be a grave mistake. They've waged wars among themselves for millennia, honing their strategies and resilience. Their capacity to adapt under pressure is unparalleled." A holographic dossier materialized above the assembly, highlighting humanity's key attributes: adaptability, ingenuity, and a propensity to escalate when challenged. The Council had once hoped to integrate humanity peacefully, leveraging their strengths for the galaxy's collective benefit. That hope now seemed distant. "What if they're orchestrating something?" a voice queried from the back. The speaker, a towering insectoid figure, leaned forward. "Their refusal could be a ploy, a distraction while they prepare for conflict." This suggestion sent another ripple of murmurs through the hall. The thought of humans, with their unpredictable behavior and unorthodox tactics, initiating a preemptive strike was deeply unsettling. The Council had never faced an adversary quite like humanity, one seemingly unafraid of them. "Or maybe," proposed an elder aquatic delegate, their tone calm yet incisive, "they simply hold their independence above all else. Historical records show a consistent pattern. Humanity resists external control, even at great personal cost. They've fought among themselves to determine their own destinies. Why should we expect them to act differently with us?" Silence enveloped the chamber at this observation. Humanity's steadfast commitment to self-determination was well documented, leaving the Council to ponder their next move. They had navigated planetary catastrophes, internal wars, and existential dangers, always emerging stronger and more united. To many, this relentless spirit was inspiring. To the Council, it was potentially disastrous. "We must decide our course of action," the speaker proclaimed firmly. "Continuing diplomatic efforts might be seen as weakness, yet aggression could provoke retaliation that endangers us all. How can we balance these risks effectively?" The room erupted into debate, each species offering viewpoints shaped by their unique histories. Some advocated for military containment, arguing that humanity's expansion needed to be checked before it became uncontrollable. Others urged restraint, cautioning that provoking humans could lead to a war the Council was ill-equipped to handle. In the midst of the discussion, a neutral observer from an unaligned species addressed the assembly. Their holographic image flickered as they spoke. "Perhaps the real question isn't what we should do, but why humanity has chosen this path. Their defiance may not signal aggression but reflect their principles. Acting without understanding would be unwise." The speaker acknowledged the insight with a slight nod. "A valid point. Before taking any action, we must gather more intelligence. Understanding humanity's motivations will be crucial in determining our next steps." As the session adjourned, the delegates left the chamber, their faces showing a mix of concern and determination. The issue of humanity's refusal weighed heavily, its implications far-reaching. The Council had faced many challenges throughout its long history, but none quite like this. For the first time, they confronted a species seemingly immune to their authority, a species whose very existence challenged the foundations of their unity. News of humanity's refusal to engage in negotiations spread rapidly, transmitted through the vast communication networks linking the galaxy's countless worlds. The announcement sparked panic and uncertainty, with citizens across the stars grappling with the consequences. Humanity, known for their unpredictability and swift advancement, had effectively dismissed the authority of the Galactic Council, an act many perceived as a declaration of superiority or even war. Speculation was rampant, with theories ranging from imminent invasions to elaborate human schemes to consolidate power. On bustling trade hubs and major colonies, the situation became the main topic of public discourse. discourse. Crowded marketplaces and busy spaceports buzzed with conversations about humanity. Merchants from distant systems exchanged exaggerated rumors of human fleets gathering near unaligned territories. The fear of the unknown only heightened the anxiety. Despite their impressive technological capabilities, much about human culture and intentions remained a mystery. Some civilians began stockpiling resources, while others called for diplomatic efforts to resolve the standoff peacefully. The uncertainty unsettled entire civilizations, shaking their sense of security. The Galactic Council itself felt the strain as member species reacted to the crisis. Militaristic civilizations, especially those with histories of expansionism, were quick to propose defensive measures. Perceiving humanity's defiance as a direct provocation, certain factions advocated for preemptive strikes to prevent what they deemed inevitable aggression. They pointed to humanity's rapid technological advancement and tumultuous history as proof that this species posed an existential threat to the galaxy. In contrast, pacifist and diplomatically inclined members urged caution, emphasizing that humanity's intentions might not align with the Council's worst fears. These representatives highlighted humanity's lack of territorial ambitions beyond their own systems and their apparent disinterest in conquest. To them, humanity's refusal was not an act of war but a declaration of independence, a statement valuing sovereignty above all else. The rift between these factions deepened, threatening to fracture the Council's unity. Beyond the Council chambers, individual species began taking matters into their own hands. On frontier worlds near human space, tensions escalated. Humanity's refusal to negotiate was both a challenge and a testament to their intent to remain self-reliant. It forced the Council to reevaluate its strategies, as traditional methods of diplomacy and coercion proved ineffective. Humanity had essentially redefined the terms of engagement, shifting the balance of power in ways few species could have anticipated. As humanity fortified its position, its leaders remained steadfast in their convictions. Aware of the risks, they believed the rewards far outweighed them. By refusing to negotiate, they not only preserved their sovereignty but also demonstrated the strength of their principles. In doing so, they set a precedent that would resonate throughout the galaxy, challenging the status quo and redefining humanity's place in the interstellar order. The Galactic Council's chamber became a fractured assembly, its members struggling to unify in the face of humanity's unprecedented defiance. Divisions deepened with no consensus on how to proceed. Some argued for swift and decisive military action to assert the Council's authority, while others feared the catastrophic consequences of provoking a species as unpredictable as humans. The Council's inability to act decisively became a glaring weakness, one that humanity's calculated stance had exposed for all to see. Amid escalating tensions, the Council received reports of a coordinated display of human technological prowess. It was not an attack but a demonstration designed to underscore humanity's capabilities. In a carefully orchestrated maneuver, a fleet of human vessels executed precision operations near the borders of Council-controlled space. Utilizing propulsion systems that defied conventional understanding, these ships exhibited an uncanny ability to adapt in real time, simulating scenarios that outpaced even the Council's most advanced predictive algorithms. Observers noted the unmistakable message: humanity was prepared for any eventuality and would not be intimidated. The strategic display of strength achieved its intended impact. Discussions within the Galactic Council shifted from enforcing compliance to seeking ways to coexist. For the militaristic factions, humanity's demonstration amplified their fears of an uncontrollable force. For the diplomatic factions, it presented an opportunity to advocate for a more nuanced approach. They argued that humanity's refusal to negotiate was not an act of hostility but a demand for respect. For the first time, a majority of Council members began to realize that their approach to humanity might require a fundamental change. A pivotal moment occurred when an independent coalition of neutral species presented a proposal to the Council. They contended that humanity's defiance was not a rejection of cooperation but of subjugation. The proposal called for restructuring the Council's policies, emphasizing equality among all members and abandoning practices that centralized power among a select few species. The coalition's argument was straightforward. Humanity's actions had exposed flaws in the Council's system, and addressing these flaws was the only path to lasting peace. The proposal ignited intense debate. For species that had long benefited from the Council's hierarchical structure, such reforms were seen as a threat to their influence. Others, especially those who had felt marginalized within the current system, embraced the idea as an overdue correction. The debate raged on, but the growing realization was undeniable. Humanity had fundamentally altered the dynamics of interstellar diplomacy, forcing the Council to confront its own own vulnerabilities. While the Council deliberated, humanity maintained its enigmatic stance. They neither escalated tensions nor sought to appease the Council, instead continuing their preparations and selectively strengthening relationships with independent species. This strategy further undermined the Council's authority, as member species began to question the benefits of alignment. For many, humanity's independence offered an inspiring alternative to the Council's centralized governance, a possibility that had previously seemed unimaginable. The Council's eventual response was a calculated compromise. A delegation was dispatched to humanity with an offer that differed from all previous negotiations. Rather than demanding compliance or membership, the Council proposed a mutual non-aggression pact and a framework for future cooperation as equals. The terms acknowledged humanity's sovereignty, a concession the Council had never made before. It was a significant policy shift, driven by necessity and the realization that humanity could not be forced into submission. Humanity's response was deliberately measured. They accepted the framework but included provisions that ensured their independence remained intact. The pact established limited avenues for collaboration, primarily in trade and scientific exchange, without binding humanity to the Council's overarching authority. This agreement marked a turning point not just for humanity but for the Council itself. They had weathered planetary crises, internal conflicts, and existential threats, always emerging stronger and more united. To many, this unwavering spirit was admirable. To the Council, it was potentially disastrous. "We must determine our next steps," the speaker declared firmly. Continued diplomatic efforts might be seen as weakness, yet aggression could provoke retaliation that endangers us all. What strategy can balance these risks? The chamber erupted into debate, each species offering perspectives shaped by their unique histories. Some advocated for military containment, arguing that humanity's expansion needed to be checked before it spiraled out of control. Others urged restraint, warning that provoking humans could lead to a war the Council was unprepared to fight. Amid the discussion, a neutral observer from an unaligned species took the floor. Their holographic image flickered as they spoke. "Perhaps the real question isn't what we should do, but why humanity has chosen this path. Their defiance may not signify aggression but reflect their principles. Acting without understanding would be unwise." The speaker acknowledged the comment with a slight nod. "A valid point. Before we take any action, we must gather more intelligence. Understanding humanity's motives will be crucial in determining our next steps." As the session adjourned, the representatives exited the chamber, their expressions ranging from concern to determination. The issue of humanity's refusal hung heavily in the air, its implications far-reaching. The Council had faced many challenges in its long history, but none quite like this. For the first time, they confronted a species seemingly impervious to their authority, a species whose very existence challenged the foundations of their unity. News of humanity's refusal to negotiate spread rapidly through the vast communication networks linking the galaxy's countless worlds. The announcement ignited waves of panic and uncertainty, with citizens across the stars grappling with the implications. Humanity, known for its unpredictability and rapid advancement, had effectively dismissed the authority of the Galactic Council, an act many interpreted as a declaration of superiority or even war. Speculation was rampant, with theories ranging from imminent invasions to elaborate human schemes to consolidate power. On bustling trade hubs and major colonies, the situation became the focal point of public discourse. Crowded marketplaces and busy spaceports buzzed with conversations about humanity. Merchants from distant systems exchanged exaggerated rumors of human fleets assembling near unaligned territories. The fear of the unknown only intensified the anxiety. Despite their impressive technological capabilities, much about human culture and intentions remained a mystery. Some civilians began hoarding resources, while others called for diplomatic efforts to peacefully resolve the standoff. The uncertainty unsettled entire civilizations, fracturing their sense of security. The Galactic Council itself felt the mounting pressure as member species reacted to the crisis. Militaristic civilizations, especially those with histories of expansionism, were quick to propose defensive measures.